Hi guys, welcome back to Hairdryer Treatment. Richard Ramble is back. A lot to talk about in terms of rumours, obviously, for Manchester United and a lot of other transfers going on. I can already see people in the comments are commenting. Kean is going to Everton. Di Marzio has just confirmed that on Twitter as well. I know that. And I saw a lot of people thinking that maybe that means Lukaku will be going the other way to Juventus now that Kean has gone. And it's all very interesting. So Julia says the money from Lukaku will go straight to Maguire deal and wouldn't expect any other movement anymore after that. If the extra money was there, the rest would be done and dusted already. I tweeted regarding that yesterday. I said I got a feeling that no movement in transfers is going to happen until Lukaku goes. When Lukaku goes, hopefully we'll see other deals coming in and so on and so forth. But why are we waiting? We should never be in a position as a football club where we have to wait to sell players before we can buy. And it just shows what a shambles we are from the top. It really does. MH says Sophie won't sign anyone. Jawad says Bruno for me, please. I agree. I would love Bruno Fernandes at United, as I've constantly said that. Obviously, there's rumours now that we might get Dybala in exchange for Lukaku. If that does happen, I do genuinely feel that will affect the Bruno Fernandes deal, if ever there was one. Hello, Mr. E. Hope you're doing well. Morning, Soph. Hope you're groovy, says Lewis. I'm very groovy. Thank you, Lewis. So, yeah, as the description of this video says, Zaha or Kean to Everton was the rumours. Obviously, Kean is just literally being confirmed by Di Marzio now. For me, fantastic business from them. I think Richarlison and Kean going forwards is going to be a very, very exciting prospect. If they do manage to get Zaha as well, then I think really exciting times for Everton. I think they made some really good signings, obviously getting Gomez permanently as well. I think he's an absolute baller. So, and I said this in my last video, I'm concerned for the teams that were in and around us last season overtaking us because of the business they've been doing in the transfer market. Wolves obviously have just signed a very, very promising striker as well, apparently. And they already had a very strong squad. And the teams in and around us at the minute, their business is looking a lot better than ours. And I'm genuinely concerned by it. I feel like we're going backwards. And don't get me wrong, Wan-Bissaka I do think has strengthened us. James I think is an exciting signing. But we all know deep down and that's not enough. We need to strengthen defensively. The amount of goals we let in last season and the amount of stupid mistakes that we were making at the back. And we all know the Chuckle brothers are capable of making those mistakes. And I just don't think we've done enough. And why are we leaving it so late? And that's the concerning thing for me. Why are we waiting for now, the last 8 days in the transfer window, whatever's left? We should not be in that position. It should have been done much, much earlier, which is why I worry. Are we really waiting for Lukaku to go before we have any movement? And that is a big concern, in my opinion. Joe says, can we do 2 deals in like 2 weeks? So we can do 2 deals in 2 weeks, definitely. But I don't want us to rush deals through. I don't want us to panic buy as we have done in the past. Like I say, we all knew that we needed a rebuild from long before the transfer window even started. So why is it coming now into the last few days of the transfer window before we see any movement? And it's just really, really worrying times for me. James says, wondering if whether the owners took 20 million off our transfer budget this summer because of the compensation for sacking Mourinho. Maybe. Mourinho obviously has spoken. He was on Sky Sports this morning. He wants to get back into the management in the top 5 leagues. Apparently he's full of fire and he's ready to come back. Mohamed says, Bruno, he was more consistent. We need someone like him alongside Pogba. I would like to rely on Martial, Rashford and Greenwood going forward this season. I think the only problem, I said this before, if Lukaku goes, I do have a little niggly feeling that I'm scared of where the goals are going to come from. Because I don't think we can rely purely on Rashford to get goals. I think Martial needs to be definitely played through the middle. A lot of people wanting to get his number 9 back if Lukaku goes. I would fully support that. I think Martial should be our central player going forwards, not Rashford. We can't rely on him. I think Martial is more consistent. However, Martial does need to perform on a more consistent basis. And I mean that in terms of his effort, in terms of wanting to get on the ball, but not only always coming feet running into the channels as well, needs to be a bit more versatile. But in terms of finishing, he's definitely more consistent than Rashford. And I think if Lukaku goes, we're not going to replace him. So I think we will be relying on those players that we just mentioned, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, even James, to try and get the goals. Gerard says apparently Maguire is going to be announced tomorrow. I did see pictures that his agent was rumoured to be at Old Trafford yesterday. I do know his agent is also the same as Garner's, I believe, at United. But for him to post that on his Instagram, it does make me think, if it is him, of course, it does make me think that it is to do with the Maguire deal. Apparently talks were ongoing yesterday, but the deal is still not confirmed. I have been reading reports that Maguire was back at training today for Leicester. So yeah, it's all very interesting, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm literally pulling my hair out with it now. I'm absolutely sick of reading rumours. I'm sick of seeing us being linked to different players every single day, and I just want it over with. I just want the transfer window to be done with. I want us to get the deals done and dusted, and I wanted that to be done early, and it just hasn't been. And I think the longer this has gone on, the more crazy it's got. So yeah, obviously the title of the video I've said Dybala or Bruno, who would you choose? And I asked that because apparently if we do get Dybala as part of the Lukaku deal, that will then obviously stop our chances of getting Bruno Fernandes. So it's kind of a one or the other. Now, in terms of Lukaku, I believe that it's a win-win situation. We're going to be getting a good fee for him, whether he goes to Inter Milan, or obviously a decent player back with Dybala if he does go to Juventus. But a lot of people are nervous about Dybala coming to United. They feel that it's just going to be like another Sanchez living off the profit of the club. He's not going to really take to the Premier League. He's not going to do it, for example, against Burnley on a cold winter's evening. And it is a big risk. It is a big risk, but I think Dybala is an absolute talent. He has got a lot of players, like for example Messi ahead of him for Argentina. People judge him on that, but for me, I think, to be honest with you, Dybala, I would take him. I think if Lukaku is going to go and we can get a world class player in for him, yeah, it's a risk whether he's going to take to the Premier League, but I would take that deal because I would never expect that to be a possibility at the start of this transfer window at all. And I would love to see him at United, but as long as Pogba stays, because I feel like their link up, obviously at Juventus was very successful, and I'd love to see that link up again at United. But if Dybala comes in and Pogba leaves, again, for me, it kind of isn't as effective, is it? So it's a really interesting one. And in terms of Pogba, I haven't put him on the description of the video, but there are rumours that if Bale leaves Real Madrid, then that's when they will move for Pogba. And obviously the Bale deal to China then fell through. So do you guys believe that Pogba is now going to stay at United, or is it just a matter of time? We're waiting for Bale to go, and then Pogba will then be allowed to go to Real Madrid. Then maybe that's where the Savage deal comes into play, where we get him to replace him. I'm hoping Pogba stays, especially if we get Dybala. I've already said this, and of course, if Pogba wants to stay, that's the main point of it. That's the main thing. But it's really, really interesting. Mr. Herb says Bruno all day for me is a better fit in the Premier League. I'd agree with that. Bruno Fernandes has been a player that I've wanted for a long time. I'll definitely take him. But if it's a matter of getting Dybala or Bruno Fernandes, that is what I'm asking you guys. Would you choose Bruno over him, or would you rather take Dybala? I mean, I would definitely choose Bruno over him, but I just can't see Bruno coming to United. And I think if it's a case of getting money and no players in, or getting a player like Dybala in, then I would take it. That's just my opinion. But of course, I would love Bruno Fernandes. I just can't see him coming to United. I think that deal would have already been done by now if it was going to happen. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm proven completely wrong on that. That's what happens when you have businessmen running the club. They have no clue whom to buy, or how to get through a deal. Our scouting system at Palace is shocking times to get Dougie Freeman, chief scout, out. So Jack Ramsey, obviously with Zaha rumoured to be going as well. Palace have got some recruitment to make, haven't they? They've obviously lost Wan-Bissaka. They've got Zaha, who's possibly on the way out now. I did read this morning that he's not going to refuse to play. He's not going to obviously kick a fuss up if he doesn't leave. He will remain professional. But if the player wants out, then it's not a good sign for the club, is it? So interesting time for Palace, definitely, because arguably two of their best players on the way out. Joshua says, I've read that we can get Mandzukic and Dybala for Lukaku with a £10 million add-on. Well, I haven't read that. I've heard that it'd be Dybala with around 20 million, and then that would be the deal for Lukaku. So it'd be Lukaku, with 20 million, and then we'd get Dybala in exchange. That's what I read, but it's interesting. That United family, Carl and Emma, I hope you're doing very well. They say Fernandes 100%, but unlikely we will get him, and that is my stance as well. I would choose Fernandes any day, but I don't believe we're going to get him. I think that deal would have been done. But it is interesting where you see the clips of him crying the other day. Maybe he's heard that he's going to be teaming up with the likes of Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, and that's why he was in tears. Who knows? But it is a bit odd that he'd be crying at a friendly game. If he's leaving, it makes sense, doesn't it? But I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm going to get stick for saying this now, but if we end up getting Dybala as part of the Lukaku deal and then Fernandes goes to Liverpool, how would you guys feel about that? I don't think I would be happy with that at all. So if he is leaving and he does go to Liverpool, I think that kind of rubs salt into the wounds, because as United fans, we've been going mad for him all summer. And if he ends up going to Anfield, then I would be absolutely distraught with that. Even if he did get Dybala, I would not be satisfied with that at all. Darwin says, rumours circulating that Barca are willing to sell Rakitic for 50 million. Would you take him? No. I genuinely wouldn't at this point anymore. I like Rakitic. I think he's a good player. But he's getting on a bit, isn't he? And I don't think he's the kind of player. I'd rather keep Pogba. I'd rather get someone like Fernandes in than get Rakitic. Come on, Dybala. Sarri will favour Higuain. You'll be first choice here. Yeah, Higuain obviously is back at Juventus now. But again, For me, Lukaku, he looked destined to go into Inter Milan. And I know I tweeted today saying the possibility of Dybala coming and the Juventus deal going ahead. But in my heart, I'm still thinking that he's going to go to Inter Milan. This is just a ploy to get more money from Inter Milan, from Ed Woodward and the press. And I genuinely don't fully believe it. But that little niggle of hope, it just kills you, doesn't it? And the idea of Dybala coming in, like I say, it is very tempting. But deep down, I've got to be honest and say I still think that he's going to end up going to Inter Milan. We're going to get a decent feedback for him. I'm just hoping that the Lukaku movement, it happens quick so we can get on with our own business, because I have got a horrible feeling that we're waiting for that to go through before we make moves in the market. I genuinely think Lukaku is the key to it all. Let's see what else people are saying. We always leave it late as Woodward needs to summer holiday, which he likes to take during the transfer window. He does, and I commented on that the other day. Woodward has had his holiday, he's come back, and now he's had to stay at home, poor Woodward. But now he's going to actually get some deals done. But for me, we knew what kind of dire state the club were in. We knew how far we're falling behind, and this should have started much, much earlier. It didn't. And now we're in that same situation where there's just mad rumours every single day. Obviously, we know United sell papers, and the amount of rumours this window it's just been abysmal. As a United fan, suffering going through with it. The amount of players we've been linked to, we get our hopes up and we just knock back down again. And the Pepe deal to Arsenal, and I said this the other day, it's a fantastic deal for them. But they were working supposedly on a 45 million budget. I know they've got him on finance, they're paying for him instalments, which is a joke. But you know what? They're signing players and they're getting their business done. Yes, they need to strengthen their defence. No two ways about it. And we all know that. We all know they need to strengthen their defence. But you can't knock the signing that they've just made. Pepe, fantastic up-and-coming talent. He's a very exciting player. Yes, he's not the finished article. But they've also got a very decent midfielder in, obviously, Ceballos from Real Madrid as well. Yes, on loan, but still, they're strengthening where they need to strengthen. Defensively, questionable. And we'll laugh at that throughout the season if they do not strengthen, of course. But they're making moves in the market, which is more than what you can say for us at the minute, isn't it? So, yeah, I think I'm genuinely concerned. But at the same time, that there is still time. I know we're leaving it late, but there is still time to make the deals that need to happen. Franklin says, I think Bruno fits our system and the type of player that Ollie wants. Dybala is quality, but I don't think we need him as much as we need Bruno. But Dybala massively improves our front line. I can't choose. Franklin, I think that is a very, very good comment. Dybala is a quality player. Like, his control on the ball, his moving. He's such an intelligent player. He can obviously finish as well. He's not proven in the Premier League, no. Bruno does seem the type that will fit and slot right into the Premier League a lot quicker than Dybala will, yes. And he just definitely, it fills the gap of what we need in our midfield more so than what Dybala does. But like I said, at the start of this transfer window, if someone said to me you could possibly end up with getting Dybala in your Manchester United starting 11, then I would have laughed at them, because I never would have believed that would have happened. So I'm excited at the prospect of him possibly coming. But I'm staying grounded and I'm sticking to it that I genuinely think Lukaku will end up going to Inter Milan, and this is a pull just to try and up the money that we're going to get for him. Josh says you need me alongside Pogba, so yeah, I'm up for it. Come and sign me at United. I'm ready. I'm waiting. Kidding Mr. Harris won't be too happy with that though. So yeah, remain professional. Rashford is just another Danny Welbeck. Thoughts, says Adam Smart. I love Rashford, and I think again he's a quality talent. On his day, I think he's unplayable at times. He's absolutely rapid. He does shoot far too much for my liking, and I will continue to say that. However, I do like the kind of fearless approach where he'll try things, because I was sick of people playing the safe pass and not trying things, and and he takes risks. Yeah, and when it comes off, it's fantastic. When it doesn't, people getting his back. But I'm not one to jump on Rashford's back and give him stick, because I do like the kid, and he is still a kid at the end of the day. I won't overhype him, because I don't think that's right either. He is English, and he does need to be given grief where it's needed, because if it was Pogba, for example, we'd definitely be on his back, and I do think it needs to be fair. However, I do like Rashford. I just don't think we can rely on him consistently to get the goals for us this season. If Lukaku goes, he definitely needs support from the likes of Martial, James, Dybala if he comes in as well, of course. And of course, Pogba gets goals as well, so it's not all going to be on Rashford's shoulders. And like I said the other day, for me, we won't play with an out-and-out striker. It should be a front three who will intertwine, and will be very fluid going forward, because we've got a lot of pace, and that's the way it should be. We haven't got an out-and-out striker, so we shouldn't play that way. But if one player is going to play through the middle, it would be Martial. And when he played number 9 for Van Gaal, that was his best season for United. He obviously did bang in goals, so that's what I would go with. Joshua Pinning says he wants Jane Madison, but we won't get him. It's way too late. His tweet made me laugh regarding Maguire yesterday. I did retweet it. But yeah, I think Maddison is a good player, but I can't see him coming to United. Definitely not. I don't think that move will happen at all. But I do rate Maddison as a player. I think he's fantastic. But again, if you're looking at a player to play in that position, if it's going to be Maddison or Dybala, you would choose Dybala all day, any day though. Jared says, can we get Ander back on loan? He's missing him already. What if Lukaku doesn't go? He's had no pre-season. I think he did have a knock, obviously, Lukaku, but you're right, he will be unfit. If he doesn't leave, he's not going to play the first few games of the season anyway, is he? Because he's not going to be fit. He hasn't been training. He hasn't been playing pre-season, sorry. So, yeah, I think he will go. I think he's destined to go. I don't think that's an option. I think it's just a matter of who to, whether it be Inter Milan or Juventus. I think 100% Lukaku will leave this transfer window. See what some of you guys are saying. In terms of Herrera, obviously, Idrissa Gueye has just gone to PSG as well, 29 million, I believe. I know he's getting on. He's like, almost 30 now, so age is an issue. But for me, I think that's a bargain. I think he's a quality player. Definitely an upgrade on Matic, and a very good sign for them. They've really strengthened their midfield this season, PSG, and they've done it very cleverly. They've saved a lot of money in doing that, obviously getting Herrera in, Idrissa Gueye. They've signed some good midfielders, and that's the kind of business we should have been looking at. I'm not saying we should have got Idrissa Gueye. I'm just saying that is an absolute steal. Yes, he's getting on. For me, we need to be signing younger players, I agree. But the way they've gone about their business, for me, has been really, really clever this season. Jose Zaclaim says, I can't believe we're getting Maguire. Not only are we getting Maguire, apparently it's for around 90 million as well, which will make him, the most expensive defender, which is it's shocking, isn't it, when you think about it? I do think we're going to get Maguire. I think that is almost done now. I do think we're overspending for Maguire, but at the same time, he improves on what we've already got at the back. We're in dire need to improve at the back, and because we've left it so late as well, I think we'll get ripped off no matter what, because clubs know that we're desperate. Clubs know we're Manchester United and we will overspend. So I do think we'll get Maguire, but I also think that we're going to overspend for him. He is an improvement though, no doubt about it. He's an improvement on what we've got. We just need to get the deal done over the line now. If Maguire comes in, wonder how much his wages are. It's a good point. He'll be on a lot of money. Joshua's on his way out. See you later, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Savage flipping auto spell. I'm guessing you meant to put Savage in your message. Good idea, Jack. Maybe train with the under-23s like Schweinsteiger did. So, in terms of Lukaku, you're saying you'd force him to train with the under-23s if he was to stay? Yeah, it would definitely make a point, wouldn't it? But we don't want to keep someone on our books who doesn't want to be there, which is why we need to get the deal across the line. He obviously wants to leave. There's no point in keeping players if they don't want to be here. I said the same about Pogba, and I'll continue to say the same about players. If players do not want to be at United, there's no point in keeping them here. Let's just get rid. Let's get a cash out on them, get good money, and if we can get Dybala in the deal, of course, then bonus, in my opinion. But yeah, so look, this is what I think is going to happen in the remainder of this window. I think we're going to get Maguire. Lukaku is obviously going to leave. I don't think we're going to get Dybala as part of the deal. I think he's going to go to Inter Milan. However, I do hope that there is some truth in the rumours that Dybala could be coming in. Personally, if Dybala doesn't, I really hope we go all out and we get Bruno Fernandes. But I've already said the horrible point that I genuinely think that it could end up at Liverpool, and I hope that doesn't happen. But for me, I would love, if we get Maguire and Fernandes in before the end of the transfer window, I would be satisfied with that at the moment, I think. But yeah, Lukaku's going to leave regardless, no matter what. I think it's a bit of a win-win situation, as long as we spend the money that we get from him on a player that we actually need, of course, and it doesn't go into the pockets of the Glazers and it's not invested into the club, which of course could happen as well. Hi Matthew. Matthew's tuning in. He says Kean is off to Everton, so Juventus will be wanting another forward. Dybala's got the matter treatment at Juve, so it would be an absolute steal if we were to get him. It's a very good point. Obviously, now this move at Kean has happened, it could obviously initiate the Lukaku deal, which then also could mean that Dybala comes the other way. So maybe we'll see a lot. I'm expecting a lot of movement in the next few days. It seems like a lot of deals are finally falling into place, and it seems like a bit of a knock-on effect. So now Kean has gone. Maybe this has started off the domino effect, as you could say. So Lukaku will go there, and Dybala will come to us. Who knows? Who knows? But of course, Dybala could end up at Spurs, because that was another rumour that I said earlier on. I'm just not getting my hopes up too much yet. Fingers crossed that it does happen, because I do think he'll be a steal. And like I've said, he's a world-class player. I would have laughed at people if they said we could have ended up with him this window. And if we actually do end up with that, then I will be chuffed. Paul says, when do you think Maguire will be signed? Will it be this week or next? I think it's going to happen this week. I think it'll be in the next few days. Obviously, we're playing tonight, so I'm not expecting really much today. But maybe tomorrow or the day after, I think Maguire will be done. His agent was at Old Trafford rumoured to be yesterday, and I think it's just a matter of time now, to be honest. I do think we've overpaid for him, but we need him. And let's face it, clubs will rip us off because, as usual, we're leaving it to last minute, and as usual, we're desperate for players, and that just shows the shambles of the club that we're at and how it's run at the minute. Exactly, Reece says 80 million for Maguire, absolute mugs. I agree, overpaying. But he doesn't. We need to improve our back four, and he does improve that definitely. And we need him. Let's be honest, we need him, and we are overpaying for him, but we need him. I'm glad someone's brought this up. What do you think about the MUTV silencing callers to the Paddy Kieran show last night? Obviously, someone called up to criticise the Glazers and where the money was going, and they basically said he basically told them to shut up, and he wouldn't take it. He was saying that every club's in debt right now and all this, and he's kind of brushing it aside. One thing I will say is that they're obviously employed by the club, so we can't really expect them to say anything else on MUTV, on the club's channel. They're just going to voice, obviously, they're going to be positive. It's propaganda, isn't it, at the end of the day? They're going to be positive in the eyes of the club. It's their employees at the end of the day. They're not going to go against their employers. However, I think silencing the fan, like every fan has a right to speak, and they should at least allow the fan to voice their concerns. I'm not saying they should necessarily agree with it, but the whole point in it is to voice their concerns. It'd be like what we're doing here. You guys are voicing your concerns. I'm not going to brush aside your opinions. I'm not saying I agree with everyone's opinions, but that's the whole point in having one. So that's genuinely what I feel about it. I wouldn't read too much into what Paddy said and things like that, because like I say, it's propaganda. They're being employed by the club, and they have to basically go along with the club's motto, even if they agree with it or not. However, they shouldn't silence the fan, because fans have a right to have an opinion. They have a right to be concerned, and that they should be able to voice that. Scroll back through what some of you guys are saying. Chris says, I don't think we're signing anymore. Getting close to our first game. Hope I'm wrong. I hope you're wrong as well. But like we've already said this, they're leaving it far, far too late for my liking. This should have been done early in the transfer so players can go on tour and get a feel. I hate it when it's being rushed at the end of it. And I know the transfer window's been shortened. Obviously, it doesn't go into the season anymore, which doesn't help. But for me, we knew where we needed strengthening. We knew that we needed to rebuild. Why are we waiting so long? Which is why I'm concerned that we're having to wait for Lukaku to go before we start spending some money. That should never be the case. Bristol City are holding out on a better deal from Brighton for one of their defenders. Brighton will sell Dunk to Leicester, so they sell Maguire. It's all one big chain reaction now. Matthew, I agree, and I think it's very, very similar in terms of Lukaku and what's going to happen there as well. I think now Kean has gone, that might initiate some movement. It's good they're silencing it, says Mr. E. It shows that they're cacking themselves. That's why they're doing it. Maybe so. Yeah, maybe they are obviously concerned and worried about what's happening above their heads as well. We're all really concerned at the end of the day, but fans, look, they have a right to voice it. United Stand is a perfect platform for fans to go and obviously voice their opinions, and on here as well. But it should be allowed to happen on MUTV, because that's a club that we all love and support, and you should be allowed to voice your views, in my opinion. So yeah, but I wouldn't read too much in terms of what the response was and things like that, because it's propaganda and they have to go along with the club's ethos, as you will. What have I told you? Arsenal have just signed a winger from Lille for 72 million, who has had one good season in the French league, scored 9 pens last season. Just that Paddy's tally. Look, I think Pepe is a good player. I think he's a good signing. I think it's atrocious the fact that they haven't strengthened the defence and they've gone straight in for a winger first, and they're paying in instalments. However, look, if you're a United fan and you're bantering Arsenal, then for me, you're an absolute joke, because it's obvious that we need to improve our signings, we need to invest, and we're a bit jealous of that. You can't tell me that you wouldn't have taken Pepe at United. 72 million, yes, one good season, yes, I agree, but he's definitely one of the up-and-coming talents at the minute. And he's a good signing, he really is, and I genuinely think he's a good signing. However, I still hope that Daniel James shows him up this season, because I saw one Arsenal fan in particular mocking Daniel James from Swansea, who for me has had a very good pre-season so far, and I'm hoping to keep underrating him, because I think he's going to impress this season, and I think he's going to surprise a few people. Nunes saying they're trying to get 2 more players. Wolverhampton need a bloody bench if they don't want to be considered failures this year. You know what, Matthew? I said the same to my dad. My dad is giving the big one. He's thinking that they're going to basically win the Europa League. I know he's being sarcastic, but he's got high expectations this season, and it's a different season for Wolves this season. Last season, there were the newcomers into the league. There was less pressure on them as such. This season, they're in Europe. They've already had a wonder first season, let's face it, in the Premier League, and I think there's a lot more pressure on them. A lot of teams have figured out how they play. I know they're trialling different systems this season. For example, you've got Adama Traore who's playing right wing back this season. Last season he was more of a bench player. They brought him on at the end when teams are tired to use his pace. This season he's playing at right wing back. So he's trialing new systems. Obviously they just signed rumoured to sign a decent centre forward as well. Their midfield, Moutinho and Neves, is just quality. So it's an interesting season for them next season, but I've already said to Dad that we will get revenge. And I'm hoping United don't let me down in terms of that. Chris says, I agree, people should be allowed to voice their opinions. I gave up watching United stands. Thanks for answering back, unlike Mark. I'll always answer back as much as I can, Chris. Don't overhype Pepe until he proves his worth from any French league. Of course, Darwin, you never should overhype players. I'm just saying people are getting on the backs of Arsenal fans and taking a mick and all that. But the same people are also saying they wanted Pepe at our club. So you can't do that. Look, you have to sometimes hold your hand up and say, you know what? You know what, it's good business, but again, it's just got to be proven. And like I say, people keep underestimating Daniel James because he came from Swansea, because he wasn't a big glamour signing. I'm just hoping he shuts those people up this season. I'm definitely behind the lad, and I'm showing faith in the lad, and I'm hoping that he does it because he's absolutely rapid. He just needs to get that end product, and I'm hoping that he gets that. Man United will get third lot. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Daniel. I really don't think Dybala would work in the Premier League, says Drew. He's not proven in the Premier League. He's obviously quite a small player. But I think technically he's outstanding, and I think it could happen. It just might take a little bit longer to settle in, which is why Bruno Fernandes is definitely high priority in my opinion, and he would be the one that I prefer. I hope Dan James scores the winner at the Emirates. You know what I mean. I hope he does too, and I hope he does a little moonwalk as well. I can't see him doing that. I know he's been angry with Jesse Lingard, but I really don't hope he moonwalks. That was a joke. Mocking us about James, I retweeted it saying they've been moved by Everton or sloppy seconds. They did want Zaha originally, that is true, but Everton, do you think Everton will still get Zaha now that Kean's coming in, or was it overall in terms of them? Because if we get Zaha as well, that would be Richarlison, Zaha and Moise Kean. Now that is impressive business going forwards. That is a strong front line. But do you think they're still going to get both? I think it was overall, and I think they've ended up getting Kean now. But it'd be very, very interesting. One of the biggest problems is that we just sign players on top of bad players we've got. We never get rid of them. I agree. I think the two players you will see maybe go this season will be Lukaku and Darmian. But let's face it, we should have seen the backs of a lot more players. Phil Jones, for example, Chris Smalling were players who were high on the agenda to go. Ashley Young, but we're keeping a lot of deadwood, as you guys call it. We're definitely keeping on. Rojo is another one. Boye, for me, his time is up at United. He's always injured, and it's a shame because I do think that it could have been a good player, a good defender, but he's too rash, and that's why he gets injured a lot of times, because he dives in. He's too erratic with the Dubai defence, and I think it's time for him to go. And I do feel sorry for him, but at the end of the day, we need to strengthen defensively. I think Tuanzebe has looked good pre-season, and I'm hoping he gets a lot more game time. But when you look at it, you've got the likes of Smalling, Jones, maybe even Rowe ahead of him. So it's an awkward one, but I do hope Tuanzebe gets a bit more time. If Maguire comes in, that's another player obviously ahead of him as well. Or should I say when Maguire comes in, because I do think that will happen. United were never interested in Bruno Fernandes as they set sights on signing Sophie. Is that the new story? You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if United get linked to me at some point, because we've been linked to everyone else. It's a step up from Palace, in my opinion. He's not a top-level Premier League player. I guess talking about Zaha there, I would agree with that. I don't think he's consistent enough on his day. I said about Rashford earlier, on his day he's unplayable at times. Zaha is definitely in that bracket, but how often do we actually see that day? And for me, if he goes to a bigger club, obviously at Palace you'd probably say he's a big fish in a little pond, and he likes that. If he goes to a bigger club, he's not going to be that. And I just don't think that I agree. I don't think he's consistent enough to be at a top club, which is why he should have gone to Arsenal, really. Jazzy Declan says you are centre defensive mid, right? I actually have been playing more of a cam recently, more of a cam. Yeah, so I'm more of a CAM, but I can play CDM as well, yeah. Breaking news, self-linked with Manchester United women. I think January transfers will be when Deadwood will be going. Maybe true, but it should have been our focus. Like for me, this transfer window, we all said this big rebuild, there should have been a lot more movement, and it just hasn't happened, and we're leaving it so late again, and I hate it. The fact that Palace want 80 million for Zaha and Pepe is 70 million is laughable, says Drew. Zaha to stay, he's a focal point, is a massive understatement. Of course, when every bit of play leads to you, you're going to get goals. Good player, but not all that in terms of the top player, says Matthew. I would completely agree with that. Bruno Fernandes to Liverpool should have replaced Milner this summer. The bloke offers nothing on the pitch outside of pens. He's washed. Milner for me, he's a bit. I know there's that Twitter account in there, boring James Milner, but he's so true. He's just a boring player. He works so hard. Yes, technically he's very good, but I agree. I think Milner, he isn't good. Like in the current Liverpool team, you've got a lot of flair players, a lot of intelligent, clever players. I think you've already got a type of Milner kind of player in Henderson, where he's consistent. He'll always do a job for the team. Obviously, he's a leader as well. I don't think you need Milner, and I agree that Bruno Fernandes would be a good replacement. And I've already said it at the start of this video, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going there, and that will absolutely kill me. But I would not be surprised if he ends up at Anfield. Maguire this week or next week, Bruno on deadline day, Dybala, I don't know, says Chris. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm not 100% on Dybala. I do think we're going to get Maguire. I think Maguire will be this week. I think it's just a matter of time now. I think at the end of the day, these rumours have gone on for far too long, haven't they? And I just want it over with now. And I'm sure the club just want to get the business done. Whatever it is that's holding them back, if it is the Lukaku deal, hopefully that now Kean has moved to Everton. Medical apparently is tomorrow. Hopefully now we can start to see a lot of movement over the next few days. And I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm dreading the amount of rumours. I tweeted this yesterday. Maguire had a sickie. Bruno Fernandes was crying. In the nose, we're having an absolute field day. And it's just tiring scrolling through Twitter and seeing after reporting about the flights and players having medicals or booked in for medicals at Carrington. It's all just a load of BS, let's face it. Nobody truly knows. And it's just so tiring, honestly. Like, I'm sick of seeing it now. I just want it all to be done and over with. I really do. And fingers crossed it will be over the next few days. I'd love Dybala at United, but knowing us, we won't get him. They'll just be linked, and another team will get him on the cheap. Spurs maybe end up getting him. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I'm sick of being linked to players. We are constantly linked to players, and it's so tiring. But like I say, United sell papers, which is why we're constantly linked with players, because people know that it opens eyes. People will pay attention. If anyone claims that a player is going to Manchester United, everyone is all ears. Even Arsenal fans, look at their reaction to their record signing. They've just looked straight at us United fans. So it just shows that everyone's eyes on United at all points, and it's just the way it is. People who unironically tweet, my source says, do not deserve equal rights, says Matthew. I agree. Or people say I got off the phone to my source last night. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We've just been linked with so many people, and it's just tiring. But like I say, next few days, I'm expecting movement, especially now Kean has gone. I think the Lukaku deal will be over and done with. I genuinely think he's going to Inter Milan, but if he can be a part of that Dybala deal, I'm excited. But if I had to choose out of all of them, I would choose Bruno Fernandes. He would be the guy I would want. And of course, Harry Maguire. But we shall wait and see, guys. We shall wait and see. Don't believe any in the nose. Until they're holding up the United shirt, don't believe anything. That's my advice to you, because it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you. Yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Obviously, match day tonight. That didn't make sense. Match night tonight. Should be a good game. Hopefully get to see a few of the youngsters out there again. I want to see more of Gomez, definitely, because he's impressed me pre-season. Chris Rock, as I like to call him, because I think he looks absolutely just like him. But yeah, it should be a good one. I will be tweeting throughout the day. Let's hope for some more movement in the transfer market. But like I say, don't get too worked up and caught up in all the rumours, because it's an absolute joke. Enjoy your day. They still get paid regardless, so enjoy your day. Do not get too stressed out by it. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel, Hairdryer Treatment. Drop a like on the video. I appreciate your support, guys. Cheers.